Hello everyone, welcome to Courts Today by Live Law, your go-to source for the latest and fastest legal updates. I'm your host Urvashi Chauhan, here to bring you daily developments, landmark judgments and significant rulings from the world of law. Let us begin with the headlines and a concise overview of the top stories, and after that we will delve into the full details. The Calcutta High Court has directed post-mortem at AIIMS hospital for the child rape victim and directed to include POCSO charges. The Supreme Court has set aside death sentence of a watchman convicted for dacoity and murder. The Calcutta High Court has called for state's response on plea seeking FIR against former Commissioner of Police Vineet Goyal for revealing RG car victim's name to media. A plea has been filed at the Supreme Court to restore Jammu and Kashmir's statehood in 2 months. In the land for jobs scam matter, a Delhi court has granted bail to Lalu Yadav, his son Tejashwi Yadav, in money laundering case. The Supreme Court has flagged discriminatory attitude towards women representatives, saying that it is important to acknowledge women's struggles in occupying public offices. The Delhi High Court has adjourned bail pleas of Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam to 25th November in the Delhi riots case. The Guwahati High Court has issued a circular for trial courts to release money seized in connection with cyber crimes to the victims. The Jharkhand High Court has directed CBI to investigate allegations of police crime nexus in the Dhanbad coal mafia case. And the Kerala High Court has refused to quash a case against a man for criticizing Muslim girl's handshake with the former finance minister. The Calcutta High Court today ordered autopsy of the 9-year-old child rape murder victim to take place at AIIMS hospital in Kalyani in West Bengal. The child was allegedly raped and murdered in Bengal's Jayanagar area, and her body was found in a nearby pond. An accused, who is 19 years old, was remanded in police custody for 7 days on Saturday. A case has been registered against him on charges of murder, evidence tampering and kidnapping. The state of West Bengal had approached the High Court with an application challenging the order passed by the magistrate in Baraipur denying the investigating agency's prayer to conduct the post-mortem in the presence of a judicial magistrate. It was stated that there was a prayer by the father of the deceased victim who requested that necessary arrangements be made for a post-mortem examination by a hospital supervisor and controlled by the central government. The Advocate General submitted that although state has the infrastructure, but the prayer of the father for conducting the post-mortem at a central government hospital has been accepted by the state. The High Court accordingly considered directing AIIMS Kalyani Hospital to conduct the post-mortem. During the course of the hearing, the court noted that although there were sexual offences committed against the minor, charges under the POCSO Act had not been levelled. So, a single bench of Justice Tirthankar Ghosh also directed that charges under the POCSO Act be added against the accused. In the next update, the Supreme Court has set aside death sentence of a watchman convicted for dacoity and murder of his employers and restored it to life imprisonment. The watchman Shiv Kumar Saket was convicted of the brutal murder of businessman Ramesh Munot and his wife Chitra at their residence in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra in the year 2007. Saket, along with 2 of his friends and 3 former employees, executed a planned robbery and murder. While the trial court initially sentenced all 6 convicts to life imprisonment, the Bombay High Court later enhanced Saket's punishment to a death sentence, citing betrayal of trust as an aggravating factor. The Supreme Court bench of Justices B.R. Gawai, P.K. Mishra and K.V. Vishwanathan has, however, disagreed with the High Court's decision. While it upheld the conviction, it has set aside the death penalty and restored the trial court's sentence of life imprisonment. The court noted that the High Court had not recorded a finding that the trial court's observation that the case did not fall under the category of rarest of rare cases was perverse. The Supreme Court further noted that the role played by Saket was similar to the other accused involved in the crime. Therefore, he could not have been singled out for a separate and harsher punishment. The Calcutta High Court has today called for a response from the state government on a plea seeking resignation of former Police Commissioner Vineet Goyal for revealing the RG Kar Hospital rape murder victim's name to the media. A division bench presided over by Chief Justice T.S. Sivangnanam also sought responses from the former police commissioner as well as the appropriate authority of the central government. Earlier, the bench had directed the petitioners to seek clarification from the Supreme Court on whether the High Court would be able to independently hear this aspect of the matter since the Supreme Court was hearing the case. Appearing for the petitioner, Senior Advocate Mahesh Jethmalani submitted that the Supreme Court had clarified that the High Court would be able to take up all other aspects of the matter aside from the investigation which the top court was hearing. It was submitted that the offence committed by the former commissioner was criminal in nature and thus the High Court would be able to hear it independently. Senior Advocate Menaka Guruswamy, appearing for the respondent, submitted that the supplementary affidavits filed by the petitioners had been served on them late and thus they would require some time to file a response. Additional Solicitor General Ashok Chakrabarti submitted that the Department of Personnel and Training would be the appropriate central government agency to be implemented in this case. The court noted that the Supreme Court had passed orders earlier on protecting the victim's name and identity from being published on the internet. It was also noted that a similar order was passed by the Calcutta High Court also. The bench directed the respondents to file their responses by 13th November and listed this matter on 14th November. Stay tuned. In the next update, an application has been filed in the Supreme Court seeking to direct the union government to restore statehood of Jammu and Kashmir within 2 months. Jammu and Kashmir was made a union territory in October 2019. This was after abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution in August that year, which revoked the special status that J&K previously enjoyed. As part of the reorganization, the state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into 2 union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. The application has been filed as a miscellaneous application in the already disposed of matter of Article 370 of the Constitution. If you remember, the Supreme Court in this case had upheld the abrogation of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. In this judgment, the court did not address the issue of constitutionality of the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019, which converted J&K into a union territory. This was in view of the assurance given by the Solicitor General that the statehood would be restored. The applicants here, college teacher Zahoor Ahmad Bhatt and activist Khurshid Ahmad Malik, have stated that despite the assurance given by the Solicitor General, the union had not taken any steps in that regard in the last 11 months after the judgment in the Article 370 case was delivered. They have contended that non-restoration of J&K's statehood violates the basic feature of federalism. The applicants also state that the recent assembly elections were held peacefully, which shows that there is no impediment of security concerns, violence, or any other disturbances in restoring the statehood. A Delhi court has today granted bail to Rashtriya Janata Dal leaders Lalu Prasad Yadav and his sons Tejashwi Prasad Yadav and Tej Pratap Yadav in a money laundering case registered by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the alleged Land for Jobs scam case. Last year, the trial court had granted bail to Lalu Prasad Yadav, his wife and son Tejashwi in the case registered by the CBI. According to CBI, various residents of Bihar were appointed as substitutes in Group D posts from the years 2004 to 2009 in different zones of railways located at Mumbai, Jabalpur, Kolkata, Jaipur and Hajipur. It has been alleged that in lieu of the same, the individuals themselves or their families transferred their land in the name of the then Union Minister of Railways, Lalu Prasad Yadav's family members, and a company named AK Info Systems Private Limited, which was subsequently taken over by his family members. CBI had claimed that the appointments made in the railways were not in consonance with the standards and guidelines established by the Indian Railways for hiring. ED's case also alleges that the Group D appointments made in the West Bengal Central Railway Zone in Jabalpur from 2004 to 2009 were done allegedly in return for land parcels transferred to Lalu Yadav's family and his associates. Today, Special Judge Vishal Gogne of Rouse Avenue Courts granted bail on a personal bond of Rs 1 lakh each to them. The matter will now be heard on 23rd October. Stay tuned. In an important update, the Supreme Court has raised concerns about discriminatory attitudes which permeate through all levels of administration towards women representatives. In this case, a female sarpanch of a village was disqualified on technical grounds. The village residents of Gram Panchayat Vichkheda, situated in Jalgaon district of Maharashtra, filed a disqualification plea before the collector, urging that she was allegedly residing with her mother-in-law in a house erected upon government land. The collector, without verifying the allegations, disqualified her. The collector's decision was upheld by the divisional commissioner and subsequently by the High Court also. The Supreme Court bench of Justices Suryakant and Ujjal Bhuya has now set aside the impugned decision and observed that the matter related to removal of an elected representative should not be taken lightly, especially when it concerns women in rural areas. It said that this was a classic case where the village residents found it difficult to accept that the appellant, a woman, had been elected as their sarpanch. They likely found it even harder to come to terms with the fact that a female sarpanch would have the authority to make decisions on their behalf and that they would be required to follow her directives. And so to remove her from the sarpanch's post, an orchestrated effort was being made by the villagers by filing the disqualification plea. The top court expressed concerns over the discriminatory action of the authorities and the casual approach adopted by government authorities in summarily removing an elected representative without verifying the allegations. The court remarked that even when the country is attempting to realize the progressive goal towards gender parity and women empowerment, such biased and discriminatory actions cast doubt over the goal sought to be achieved. Accordingly, the appeal was allowed. The Delhi High Court today adjourned hearing in the bail pleas filed by Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam and other accused persons in connection with the UAPA case alleging a larger conspiracy related to the 2020 Northeast Delhi riots. The matters were adjourned as the division bench comprising of Justice Naveen Chawla and Justice Shailendra Kaur did not sit today. Along with Umar and Sharjeel's, the new bench was set to hear bail pleas of co-accused persons Mohammad Salim, Shifa-ur-Rahman, Shadab Ahmed, Athar Khan, Khalid Safai and Gulfisha Fatima. Delhi Police's appeal against bail granted to accused Ishrat Jahan was also listed today. Umar Khalid's bail plea was denied in October 2022. He had then approached the Supreme Court but later withdrew his SLP. A second regular bail plea was filed by him in the trial court, which was rejected earlier this year. Khalid now challenges the rejection of his second regular bail plea in the High Court, notice in which was issued by the High Court in August this year. The new division bench was allotted the bail appeals after previous benches have either recused from hearing them or could not completely hear and decide the cases. The next date of hearing in the bail pleas is now 25th November. The Guwahati High Court has issued guidelines relating to release of seized money in connection with cyber frauds or crimes registered on National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal to the victims of those crimes. The notification directs trial courts not to insist on registering FIRs for cyber fraud cases already reported online through the National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. Instead, courts should release the frozen money to the victims based on a police report verifying the authenticity and ownership of the seized funds. The cyber police station or investigating officer will submit an action taken report to the court. These guidelines have been directed to take effect immediately. In another update, the Jharkhand High Court has directed CBI to investigate allegations relating to a nexus between the coal mafia and police officials in the city of Dhanbad. The case involves accusations of illegal coal mining and sales. The bench of Justice Sanjay Dwivedi was hearing a petition filed by a journalist alleging that a police official was complicit with the coal mafia. The court, finding sufficient grounds, transferred the case to the CBI because of the local police's reluctance to register an FIR despite the opportunities to do so. It criticized the state government's petition filed after the case was reserved, deeming it unjustified. The court said that the purpose of a preliminary inquiry is to ascertain whether the information provided reveals a cognizable offence or not, and that the proper procedure for verifying the information should occur after registration of an FIR, emphasizing the importance of police courtesy towards public. Finally, the court acknowledged that while normally a criminal investigation cannot be ordered in writ jurisdiction, special circumstances warrant judicial review under Article 226 of the Constitution. The court stated that following the preliminary inquiry, the director of the CBI would register an FIR if warranted. All police officers have been instructed to cooperate with the CBI during this inquiry. And lastly, the Kerala High Court has refused to quash charges against a man accused under Section 153 of the IPC for provocation to cause a riot and Section 119A of the Kerala Police Act for atrocities against women. The man allegedly posted on Facebook and circulated on WhatsApp a video claiming a Muslim girl violated Sharia law by shaking hands with the former finance minister, Dr. Thomas Isaac. The girl is a law graduate. While she was in the second year of college, the finance minister visited her college. She asked him a question during the interactive session, and the students who asked questions were given gifts by calling them to the stage after giving handshake to the finance minister. This program was videographed by media and shown live in various channels. She filed a case against the accused, alleging that the post and video made by him brought disgrace to her family. The accused approached the High Court for dismissal of this case, but the bench of Justice P.V. Kunhikrishnan dismissed his petition. The court emphasized that Constitution guarantees personal religious freedom and no one can impose their beliefs on another. Citing Quranic verses, the court emphasized individual choice in religion and stated that shaking hands is a gesture of confidence in modern times. The court concluded that the accusations should be decided by the trial court, directing it to expedite the case. For more details on the cases mentioned here, you can visit our website at www.livelaw.in. Stay ahead with quick legal updates only on Live Law. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. You can support us by donating through the thanks button at the bottom of our videos or by becoming a member for just 89 rupees per month.